I'm hurt, dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it. I put my heart in this dog. Let's go, man. Let's go.
I'm trying to tell y'all, God has never made a mistake. He's never made one mistake. All right? So it ain't about one play, ain't about nothing. This year, we did what we were supposed to do. We fought as a team. We fought as a team. There will be one Super Bowl champ crown at the end of this year. That's it. So the way we feel, somebody gonna feel like that tomorrow, and somebody gonna feel like that in a week. That's a fact. And the fact is, we got to come back and go to work to make sure we finish it next time. That's all we got to do. Remember that, man. God has never made a mistake. But we done came too far to drop our head. Joe, you played your ass off. You hear me, man? I'm telling you, man, don't ever drop your head when it comes to a loss, dog. Because there's too much pain outside of this that people really going through. This right here makes us stronger. Let's understand who we are as a team. Let's understand who we are as men. And let's make somebody smile when we walk out of here. Hell yeah, we lost the game, but so what? So what? I kept something inside of me so bad last night. A 17-year-old child. You know about the child, coach. He passed 10 a.m. yesterday morning. Of bone cancer. His mama called me bowling. So sometimes you gotta ask yourself, how great is your pain? If he give you enough of our opportunity to come back and do it again. We got an opportunity to keep going, man. Let's be strong as a team, man. Let's be who we are. Ravens on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ravens.
Greetings and good evening. Welcome to the Roundtable, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Tuesday, January the 5th, 2026. Boss, welcome. I'm Drew, and welcome to what has been one of the most exciting NFL regular seasons in recent history. Recap show. This is the final episode of our regular season coverage. Shout out to everybody that are joining us on Facebook Live, TikTok Live, or YouTube Live. Looking forward to the conversation and engagement in the chat tonight throughout the show, depending on the games that we are forecasting, talking about, recapping, and looking forward to. All right, because we got a lot of NFL coverage to talk about. What just transpired over the past couple of days, what's going to happen in the next 7 days. The college football playoffs or Final Four is upon us, right? Those two games are just a couple of days away. But the intro to tonight's episode was prophetic in a sense, right? Because this is something that the Baltimore Ravens have unfortunately experienced as it pertains to their path and what they believe they are as a football team. That was one heck of a post-game team speech by Ray Lewis in 2011 after they lost that playoff game. And they came back with a vengeance in 2012. If I'm not mistaken, they won the Super Bowl that following year. But he made a couple of key points in that post-game speech to his teammates as to there are no mistakes. You are learning this lesson for a reason. But the Baltimore Ravens entered the 2025 season as one of the top 3 teams that were favored to make it to the Super Bowl. Griff, we getting ready to talk about Baltimore's future based off of what just happened in the past couple of hours. But before we do all of that, we got to talk about the game itself. But how are we doing on this good toasty Tuesday evening, sir?
Hey man, I want to say toast. I say warm here where I'm at. It might be, toast up there. Y'all might got y'all space heaters and stuff on up there in the Northeast, but we actually we doing pretty good over here, man. I can't complain. Had some technical difficulties, but I tell you, the beautiful thing about modern technology is always a way. And so look, man, just ready to talk football. A lot of stuff that transpired here since the last time me and you came together, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. What's going on, Troy?
Yes, sir. And I got my hot chocolate here for the evening, bro. So we are nice and toasty up here in the Northeast, as you would say. Man, that was an emotional intro to tonight's show based off of what happened on Sunday night and how the Baltimore Ravens lost that game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was a game of ebb and flow. The Baltimore Ravens were very successful early on, implementing the philosophy of feed King Henry the ball as often as we can possibly feed him the ball, which translated into early success. They got off to a 10-0 lead. Pittsburgh was struggling in the first half, but you knew that this game was going to be a game of momentum. And early in the second half, that is exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers had on their side. They had a time-consuming drive, followed by that created points, followed by a 3-and-out by the Baltimore Ravens, which kept Derrick Henry and the offense and Lamar Jackson off of the field. Griff, neither you or I believed on Friday night that the Pittsburgh Steelers could generate enough offense to beat a Baltimore Ravens offense with a healthy Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the rest of those weapons. There was no way. But the Baltimore Ravens defense found a way to not only allow Aaron Rodgers to have a 300-yard passing game, because I believe he threw for 294, 292 or something like that, 2 touchdowns, but to do it against and no disrespect to any of the receivers that had a great game, y'all had a phenomenal game. But y'all are not primetime starters in the National Football League. You got your opportunity in Week 18 and you balled the hell out, and congratulations to you. But these were not receivers that you felt threatened by. But yet your guy Humphreys consistently got burned. Griff, what happened to the Baltimore Raven defense that we thought were going to be able to shut down a 42-year-old quarterback with no DK Metcalf and a limited passing game? What happened to them?
So that's how we gonna start the 2026. You're gonna throw shade just like that.
Yes.
I mean, Marlon Humphrey is not the only player that's over there on that defense.
He got burned a lot, though.
I just want to share that, man. Again, we could talk about their defense, but for me, the offense screwed them. Really? Drew, I'm sorry, the offense screwed this team. I hear you said the Pittsburgh Steelers had a long drive, but they still, going into the fourth quarter, this score was still 10-10. Derrick Henry only touched the ball 5 times in the second half of this game. This guy ran the ball for over 100 and some yards in the first half, and I don't care if Pittsburgh made an adjustment or not. That is why Jim Harbaugh right now does not have a job, because he stopped giving the ball. I told you on Friday, 25 plus times he needed to touch the ball. He touched the ball 15 times in the first half, 5 times in the second half. People can talk to me what they want to. We could blame it on the defense. You had the recipe to beat this team, and you blew it by putting that defense out there that has not been that great of a defense all season. We don't want to make it seem like, oh, they just had a meltdown. Their defense is one of the reasons why they where they at right now. Get a ball to King Henry, and that's what they fail to do. And here's the one thing, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. Everybody beating up the Baltimore Ravens kicker right now. But if he would have made that kick, then we'll be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers kicker, because prior to that, he missed the extra point that gave the Ravens an opportunity to win the game. I turn it back over to you, Drew. I rest my case.
You're absolutely right, man. But the kicker missing the final kick got it. It's a football play. It happens. It's unfortunate. The pressure adds on to the importance, and it went wide right. Boswell did the exact same thing when kicking the extra point, but his extra point went wide right after it looked like it was going
straight.
And then the wind caught it. So Three Rivers coming in together at the right time, and it happens. You're absolutely right. The Baltimore Ravens lost this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, as great as Coach Mike Tomlin is, y'all did not win this game. Baltimore did not show up on defense. Baltimore completely mismanaged the offensive philosophy and approach in the second half. Griff is absolutely right. Derrick Henry, a healthy Derrick Henry that by many accounts We all believe he was not utilized the way he should have been utilized this year. He still had 1,500 yards. He still had 1,500 yards. So you said John Harbaugh, and I want to Pittsburgh. We'll talk about them later on when we talk about the Steelers Texans game. But for the Baltimore Ravens and the release of John Harbaugh, I'm sorry. I've been calling for it for weeks now, for my belief that he didn't have control of this team. When we entered this season as a show, we talked about who we had as early on favorites for our Super Bowl pick. And as I did in 2024, as I did in 2023, I came into 2025 saying that the Baltimore Ravens are the most talented team in the National Football League. Therefore, they are one of the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. And they are my favorite to get that ring this year. Or John Harbaugh would be coaching for his job. I thought at a minimum that they were going to be in the AFC title game. They didn't even make the playoffs because of coaching. On the offensive side and on the defensive side and in special teams in its totality, if you look at it. Because the defensive coordinator has had 2 years to put together a defense that should have been able to shut down a Pittsburgh offense that was coming into the game unsure as to whether or not they were going to have a pass game at all. They had a 300-yard pass game. So the defensive coordinator needs to join John Harbaugh along with Todd Monken. Have been pushed out long ago.
The running back was the leading receiver, man. For Harbaugh. I mean, it wasn't like they was killing them. Thielen got a catch here. Haywood got a catch there. Austin got a catch there. But they lead receiver in this game was the running back. Gainwell. This is strictly Baltimore's fault because they stopped running the ball. At no point in this game did they get to a point where they just had to pass the ball. Even on the last drive, man, even on the very last drive, you get a good kickoff return on that last drive, get you to the 50-yard line. Derrick Henry didn't run the ball one time. Pass happened.
Todd Monken should definitely be out. He should have been the first one announced to be out. And I got it. Jordan and I were talking before the show that the Cleveland Browns actually requested to interview Todd Monken for the head coaching position. I don't understand why, but hey, they're going to do what they do. You're just looking to mismanage more talent, in my opinion, because for as much of a successive package that you put on the field, you don't utilize it in the correct way in the right times at key moments in the game. Not saying that he is not a good offensive coordinator, because he is a very good offensive coordinator. He just does not know how to utilize the available weapons of that are at his
Harris said fake news. Let me say this one thing to Troy, man, before we move on to. Troy said, why not blame the kicker? I don't believe in kickers, man. I'm sorry. I understand. I just don't. The game should never come down to a kick in the first place. If you do your job on the field, these guys sit on the sideline for most of the game chilling. And then you ask them to come out there. And even I'm a Cowboy fan. I got one of the best kickers in the game. I still don't like a game coming down to a kicker because, again, look what happens. And then everybody want to put this whole game on that one play of that kicker. He ain't out there on defense or on offense. That's what bothers me, and I hate when they do that to a kicker, man. Oh, the kicker did this to us, man. We lost. If he just would have made it. No, if y'all would have played the way y'all were supposed to play, it wouldn't even came down to the kick. That's just my philosophy. I ain't never been. If I was king for a day, it wouldn't be no such thing as a field goal kicker. You either go for a 2 or you go for 3. That's it.
Okay, 2 or
that's
what?
How you either go for 2. You either go for 1. Just how they do in the UFL. They can line the ball up at different spots based off the points that they want to get on the conversion. So I would do the exact same thing.
Do away with punting too.
Punting is something completely. Punting for me ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm talking about a game. right now, people talking more about that guy missed that daggone field goal than the rest of the plays. And that, for me, that bothers me.
Yeah, I understand your frustration with placing the blame on the shoulders of that young kicker. This was a game played in inclement weather. Unless you were in that stadium at that time with a barometer, knowing where the winds were catching the ball, you can't sit here and say that the kicker owns the blame. No, the kicker does not own the blame. The blame rests solely on the
head coach
of the head coach. You had 17 daggone weeks to put together a game plan to get you in a situation where you would have won this division weeks ago, no matter who was at the quarterback position. Because Derrick Henry was healthy all year. You had Zay Flowers healthy for a vast majority of the year. With either Snoop Huntley or a healthy Lamar Jackson, you should have been able to get 11 wins out of this team. So the head coach and both the offensive and the defensive coordinator own all of this. It is not on it. The players own some of it, but a lot of it is on John Harbaugh.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Troy, I agree with you, my brother. He was specifically picked for this situation. And I knew he was going to miss it the minute Mike Tirico started talking. The minute Mike Tirico.
They interviewed 30 kickers, and they selected him specifically for this. And then he goes and misses it.
I knew the minute Mike Tirico opened his mouth, I said, hey, Pittsburgh won this game.
Yeah. So, Griff, before we do move on, right? The Baltimore Ravens coaching position is now the most coveted position in this year's coaching search because you have a Super Bowl team in Baltimore on the offensive side, a possible playoff caliber defense if they get some oomph because they don't know how to tackle anymore either, it seems like. Who do you believe would be the perfect fit to go in next year, no matter where that coach is right now, whether he's at the collegiate rank, whether he's at the head coaching of another team or a defensive or an offensive position at another team? Who would be the perfect head coach to come into the Baltimore system and win immediately and keep the team centered around Lamar Jackson?
Got to be more. See, for me, man, Cliff Kingsbury just been released from. I would want an offensive-minded guy to come up in there. He would be a candidate for me because he didn't dealt with quarterbacks like that. Man, it's so right now. It's so many coaches out there on the market right now. To be honest, that's just the first person that stand out to me right now. I ain't have time to think about Baltimore because they fired him right before we came on the show. I kind of got my thoughts about the other teams, man, but I wouldn't know who would be the guy to come up in there. Troy, actually, the OC for the Rams is one of those guys that I was thinking about for a couple of teams as well. But to get back to the Ravens, though, if they really want to get back to Ravens football, and based off that video that we just had coming on right before we came to the show, the Ravens won their Super Bowls because they was a defensive-minded team, and they had an offense that did enough. But the defense is what won those games. So if I'm the Ravens, I'm going to look for somebody that's bringing back that culture back. The culture that we had when we made that move and we had the Ray Lewises and the Ed Reeds of the world, and that can bring that type of mindset back to our organization.
I understand that. And that's a great philosophy or an approach to have if you have the players that are there already in the building to implement that philosophy. The Baltimore Ravens don't have that on defense. I am so sorry, sir. All of the talent resides on the opposite side of the ball. So I agree with you. The approach should be an offensive-minded coach who is secure enough, experienced enough to go out and get a former head coach who is a defensive-minded head coach and allow him to take over the reins, say like what Dan Quinn did when he was down there with the Cowboys for those several years. And you had that both the offensive and the defensive success balancing each other out. So that's what needs to happen in Baltimore to give Lamar that same window that he has while you still have a healthy, hungry Derrick Henry and upcoming Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews is still in his prime to pick up where you left off this year and possibly have no skip in your skip they do next year. But we shall see. That look that you see on Lamar Jackson, that look that you see on Derrick Henry, that kiss that you see coming from Mike Tomlin, bruh, this is going to live in infamy for these two teams, not because of the game itself, but how the game ended. What was on the line? Who won this game? Aaron Rodgers, the 42-year-old who is now back in the playoffs. His storyline continues. Mike Tomlin, another AFC North title, 19 years running, even though early on in the season, people were calling for me to get fired in my own stadium on prime time Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh fans, y'all are getting spoiled. I got it. Y'all haven't won a playoff game in a decade, but you've never gotten accustomed to regular losing seasons like the New Orleans Saints have had, like the Dallas Cowboys have had in 2025. So be grateful for what you got before you lose it. Now,
Trust said Jason Garrett, man. He is one of the names that's popping up right now. You don't think Kevin Stefanski wouldn't be a good choice to go there? He's from that division.
He would be an excellent OC.
Okay.
I don't think he would. He doesn't command enough authority, in my opinion, to come in and just have his imprint on any team. You need a coach with gravitas, so to speak, to come into Baltimore because of that mentality, because of that legacy, because of that heritage, because of that shadow of Ray Lewis echoing in the locker room, right? We are better than this. The standard is much higher than this. We have not put on the field a quality defense that can spell defense consistently in the past couple of years, even with the substandard performance from other teams within our division. We should have had a cakewalk in 2025 to the division title, but yet we don't even have a winning record. John Harbaugh, phenomenal 18-year career in Baltimore, 7 vacancies, already receiving 7 requests from the 7 teams that are looking for head coaches. So he's going to get a job next year, but it was time for him to move on, man. We talked about this at the beginning of the year, the very first show. We've talked about this throughout the year when they were 1-5 and then 5-5, and then they need to win the division. If they lose the division to the Steelers, whether or not Harbaugh needed to go, Todd Monken definitely needs to go. But we are here. A lot of us were prophetic in our predictions, a lot of Negro Dama status throughout the season on this show from a lot of people in the chat.
Hey, we got an Adrian Rankin site, man. He said, "Welcome to the new NFL season for some, and a long 8-month off season for others."
Hey, we sitting on the levee down there in Louisiana, so we see y'all back in April when we meet up at the drive. But another big game that was considered the brawl for it all that I want to touch on, right? Because it was more than just about the division. Both of these two teams were competing for the number 1 overall seed in the National Football Conference and home field advantage. San Francisco was not trying to have to leave the house until the 9th of February. Why the 9th of February? Because that will be the day after the Super Bowl when they are getting ready to head down to Disneyland before they come back home to celebrate in Santa Clara. That's what they wanted to happen. They had their opportunity against the best team in the division and the best team in the conference in a 13-3 Seattle Seahawks. Ironic, the score ended in that very same record. We both picked Seattle to win this game narrowly. The way that this game ended, we're not surprised. The score could have been a lot more or similar to what we saw. Does this take away anything from what you believe the San Francisco 49ers had going into this game? Or whether or not Seattle is clearly now the team to beat in the NFC? What impressed you about both of these two teams coming out of this game?
It was a good game, man. I mean, both teams played pretty good. I think that that turnover
Mm-hmm.
when CMC had the ball in his hand and it went to the defender. San Francisco's getting ready to score. The game could have been close. But I told you on Friday, man, the difference in this game. You said it was going to have to be some type of turnover or something. That turnover came at a key time in the game. But the defense was the difference in this game. I said, you asked me what Sam Darnold had to do. Don't mess up. He was 20 for 26. He ain't have no turnovers. They was able to run the ball. They had over 150 yards rushing. They shut down CMC, man. CMC had like what I think 23 yards rushing, and Brock Purdy was under duress the whole game. So that Seattle defense is scary, man. And that Seattle defense is like what the team we just talked about how it used to be. Sam Darnold is not that flashy guy. He got Smith and Jig and all that other stuff. Actually, probably got a better offense than the Ravens had back in the day when they had that defense. But the difference maker for these two teams is that Seattle defense. A healthy 49ers defense probably be a totally different game. But we both know that they've been hurt since game one. And they find themselves still here. Just imagine if they had those players to be able to play right now. But we both picked this team, and like I said on Friday, it was the defense that was going to be the factor in this game.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely amazing how the football guys just succinctly line things up. You talked about the comparison between the 2025 Seattle Seahawks defense and the 2023-2022 Baltimore Ravens defense. The one similarity, they coach. Same coach. McDonald was the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens when they had a defense. Since his departure, they no longer have a defense, apparently. Now Seattle has that very same defense, even looking like mirror images of the Legion of Boom in certain aspects, or even more dominant, right? Because your guy, man,
D-Law.
Bro, he owns some. He owns some now. He having a heck of a late fourth quarter of the season. Seattle showed me a lot this weekend. I called this the Sam Darnold game or the Sam Darnold Bowl, because I wanted him to prove it to himself that he can rise to the occasion in the big time moments. We've seen the type of success and the record that he has produced here over the past couple of years, right? 31 wins, 6 losses, regular season. That is phenomenal for any starting quarterback. He needed to do it when it mattered the most, in front of the entire country, with everything on the line, because this was a playoff game. You have to win this game. You have to be able to go into hostile territory and plant your flag going into this year's playoffs, because you needed that confidence. Not the Seattle defense. The Seattle defense going to do what the Seattle defense going to do, no matter what the temperature, no matter what the location. This game was all about Sam Darnold's confidence. And you're right, he didn't mess it up going 20 of 26. Seattle is, I won't say head and shoulders above, but the most confident, the most prepared team going into these playoffs, and getting an additional week off to recover from whatever nicks and bruises that they currently may be suffering, both on the offensive side and the defensive side. You're going to have to earn it to go into the 12th man, like Griff loves to say, one of the toughest stadiums to play in the divisional round. So I think San Francisco hurt themselves a little bit coming out of this game because of their upcoming game against an Eagles team that took the week off themselves this past week. So we shall see. Now, Griff, the 2025 NFL regular season ended this past weekend. Man, we had some crazy games this year. Phenomenal games this year. Harold might err on the side of being political, saying that some of them might have been, touchy. But for the camera, for the fans, for the late night captions, we had some breathtaking moments, and it all culminated in what you could not have written any better: the rivalry of the entire league, of the entire sport in America, the top rivalry coming down to the last play of the game for the division title with everything on the line in the elements. If this ish is scripted, you could not have written it better yourself. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, hey, look again. I'm telling you, man. As I get older, I'm starting to think the NFL is the WWE, baby.
Really?
Hey, when I was younger, man, I believed in Hulk Hogan and Nikolai Volkov and all those guys, man. But then when I got older, man, and I started to realize that, man, wrestling was just entertainment. I'm starting to look at. I'm like, man, ain't no way, man. Like somebody sitting there on the phone or whatever, man. It's wild, and it does lead to the Harolds of the world that start saying it's politics or it's got to be something going on, man. Because it's crazy, man. For me, it's crazy. It's like, hey, let's let Aaron Rodgers have his last hoorah. You know, let's prove that we can still have a 42-year-old still do it, then which make other people come out of retirement and stuff too. And then we have a whole bunch of league full of geriatric quarterbacks trying to come out there and do it. You see what Phillip Rivers, he had his sweatshirt on this week. He said enough is enough.
Man, I think you done took that rat poison that Harold. I think you done took that rat.
No, man. Nah, man. You know, I have to do what Drew. I have to do what Drew do sometimes. You know, I have to do what Drew do sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. But there's absolutely no, and some of these games may have a little bit of twinge to them, but there's no way that you can have the way that some of these games have ended, the way that they have ended.
Yeah.
So, hey, my love, I got my baby. Now, the playoff brackets have been set. Two teams get to take a weekend off, the Denver Broncos and those very same Seattle Seahawks that we talked about. Now, these games are obviously win or go home. And to be honest, Griff, in all of these games this weekend, any team can win. Any team can win. None of these games are really big favorites other than the very first one that we're going to talk about. Even though these two teams done played each other. The Rams are traveling back to Charlotte, North Carolina to take on a Carolina Panthers team that took the oddest backdoor under the porch way to get into the playoffs I have ever seen in my entire life. Not only did you lose to a 7-9 team for them to slide their way in, but you needed another 7-9 team to beat a 6-10 team for you to slide in. But I'm not mad at you. That's the way that the system works. So congratulations to the Carolina Panthers. Y'all are in the big dance. I talked about these two teams playing earlier in the season and Carolina beating the Rams at home in Carolina. Back then, we thought the Rams were a much better team. Right now, I know we both think the Rams are a much better team. But again, both locations will be in Charlotte. Can Carolina reestablish that run game against a Rams defense that has been sliding a little bit as of late in the second half of the season? Can the run game be the lifeline that they can hang their hat on and pull off an upset in the wild card game on Saturday afternoon?
I mean, they beat the Rams the first time, man, and yes, they do have a good running game, but I don't think that's going to be enough this week. Look, like I said before, Carolina is actually well ahead of schedule in my eyes. A lot of other people didn't think so, but I say, you know what, they're here. And I told you, I hate to be the guy that say I told you so, but I told you it was going to be a team with a losing record that was going to represent your division. And here we have it. And they couldn't have been a better team than the Carolina Panthers with my guy Bryce Young over there. But I think the Rams, it's a sense of urgency for Matthew Stafford and his team, brother, This, Matt ain't got too many years left either. He is not going to allow what happened the last time to happen this time. Even if he got to put the team on his back with the Rams' best defense might be their offense. You know what I'm saying? So if they can't stop that run, because again, Bryson them only gonna get so many chances. Carolina got a nice defense, but I think Puka is gonna Puka balling out this week, baby.
He said Puka gonna Puka.
Yeah, Puka is gonna Puka this week.
Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams offense should be extremely prolific throughout this game. This should not be a game where we are struggling back and forth trying to figure things out on offense. We played this team just several weeks ago. We know what kind of defense Carolina has. We know what kind of offense that the Los Angeles Rams have. They are a team that can light it up both on the offensive receiving side and in the run game. They can play ball control. They can play quick strike. And like you said, Puka gonna Puka this weekend. And he's not the only receiver that is available for Matthew Stafford. You have Devontae Adams, who is going to be back. He's taking a couple of weeks off after that hammy strain earlier. The Carolina Panthers did beat the Los Angeles Rams earlier on in the season, but there was a couple of reasons why. Sean McVay is one of those coaches who recognizes that this is the type of game that we got to jump on our opponent and we got to jump on them early and not give them the opportunity to be confident enough to think that they have a chance in the fourth quarter. This game is not going to be close to the fourth quarter. This is going to be one of those 4 or 5 matchups where the 5 team is much better than the 4 team. It's kind of similar in both the AFC and the NFC, where the 5 team is favored to win, and legitimately so, because they are a better team on both sides of the ball. And I don't believe that the Panthers have a chance. The Rams win this game and win this game rather comfortably, in my opinion. But we shall see, because that's why you play the game.
That's why you play the game. That's why you play any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Or Saturday.
Or Saturday for this weekend. Now, Saturday night, you got the oldest rivalry in football. The Green Bay Packers traveling back to Soldier Field to take on a Chicago Bears team that has been the Cinderella of the 2025 season. Number 2 seed versus number 7 seed. The Green Bay Packers, Griff, have been steadily declining for a variety of reasons. Injuries to key position players, just ineffectiveness both on the offensive and on the defensive side at times, depending on who they are playing against, losing key games at key moments to find us where we are. They barely held on to the 7th position, 9-7-1. They slid in my opinion, into the back door of the playoffs because the NFC was subpar this year. Jordan Love, who can be lights out, but also is iffy even at this point in his career. Now, on the opposite side of the ball, Caleb and them been balling out this year. They've won a lot of one-score games. They've won a lot of close ones, just like the Commanders did last year. Ben Johnson has them believing that they are one of the best, not better, best teams in the National Football League. And Caleb Williams is earning the support that you would believe a number 1 overall draft pick would have. Can the Bears defend home field Saturday night in a chilly Soldier Field? Or can Jordan Love capture that early season success again and lead a Green Bay team into Chi-Town to knock off a confident Bears team?
The Bears, I got the Bears in this game, man. I think that with the absence, just like the team that dropped off since Michael went down, and them adding Trayvon Diggs ain't help. It just gonna hurt. I think I'm just being honest, man. Chicago's running game is what's really keeping them, keeping them in the game and stuff. And I think the Green Bay's been struggling with stopping the run. Them 2 running backs with Swift and the other guy, I can't pronounce his name. That's what's been getting it, as well as this defense. Jordan Love, he is not that guy. I just can't. It's something about Love. And Troy said Love is playing this week. I mean, he got the receivers. They had the talent over there, man. But I just think Chicago in this weather, and both of these teams are used to cold weather, so it ain't like it's one team got an advantage here. Green Bay is even colder than Chicago. So, but I think
Different kind of
that home
cold.
field,
It's a
huh?
different. I said it's a different kind of cold when that
Yeah,
rain.
that wind. That's why they call it the windy city. Yeah, that does make a difference. But I think Chicago being at home, that's gonna get them the advantage in this game. It'll be a dog fight, and it's gonna be that type of game that we are accustomed to with the NFC North and these two teams. But I think on the at the end, Chicago will come out with the win.
Yeah, you're right. And for what Troy mentioned in the chat, I don't know if you're 100% accurate, Troy, but if the Green Bay Packers did, in fact, give up 800 yards of rushing in the past 5 games, with the rush game being the bread and butter of the Chicago offensive success, supported by a much more confident Caleb Williams in his arm and his legs, and a opportunistic defense that is a magnet for turnovers in 2025. The Chicago Bears do have what it takes. The Chicago Bears should win this game by more than one score, but we shall see.
Hey,
I got the Bears as well, Mike.
let's get it, man. On to the next one.
Yes, sir. Now, I am super excited to see this game. This is the first game on Sunday afternoon, right? Because this is the game where everybody in the football world is looking to Josh Allen to see, can you do it, guy? Because Patrick Mahomes is out, Joe Burrow is out, Lamar Jackson is out on the ASC side, and that's who we have him compared to and categorized with and say, hey, these are his major competitors, even though they don't play each other, face to face. But they are playing the hottest team along with the Houston Texans, because I believe the Jaguars, coming from Duval County, are one of the two hottest teams in the entire football league right now. Buffalo has what it takes to be able to travel down to Duval and be competitive, but is everything going to rest on Superman, or can we have a run game that can be dependable with James Cook, establish that against a stingy Jacksonville defense, and have a 50-50 split? Or is it no chance for the Buffalo Bills this Sunday afternoon? What are you looking for in this game? Who wins and why?
I think Jacksonville, and I think it's because Jacksonville will be able to stop the run. If they able to stop James Cook, it's going to be a long day for Buffalo, regardless of what Josh Allen do. I know we like you said, Mahomes is not there, Lamar is not there, but again, the Buffalo team that made it to the playoffs in the last few years is not the Buffalo team that's going into this game right here. And as much as I give Sunshine the business, like you said, his team is hot right now, and they clicking at the right time. Not only just on the defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball as well. So I have to give this one to Jacksonville.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I didn't even talk about the Jacksonville offense success associated with Trevor Lawrence's evolution this year. It's about the approach that you take against a Josh Allen-led offense, in my opinion. We talked about what Houston did to them. We talked about what defensive-minded teams can do to Josh Allen and shut him down. Cut off the ability for him to escape the pocket. Put that pressure on him. Limit James Cook's success. And Baltimore or Buffalo becomes a one-trick pony, so to speak. And that is going to be the reason why Jacksonville wins this game. It's not going to be because of what Trevor Lawrence and that offense does. It is because of what that defense does and the turnovers that they are quite possibly going to be able to create and shut down and or limit James Cook's ability to have some success.
And Jacksonville just got to run the ball, man. We both know Buffalo can't stop the run. And if they run the ball, that means Josh Allen is not on the field anyway. You know what I'm saying? And they can control that. And that defense is going to cause some problems over there. And you know what happened when Josh get to running around? Sometimes he make ill-advised passes. And don't nobody want to talk about that. And Harold said the NFL politics said Josh is supposed to win the Super Bowl this year. They pivoted though. They pivoted, Harold. They pivoted. They had a end of the season meeting, and Josh got voted out this year.
He got voted out. No, it ain't that though. Nobody want to talk about Josh's proneness ability or being prone to turn the ball over. We used to call him 30 a couple of years ago. It's just that his performance last year, which led to his MVP, kind of subsided that conversation or quieted that conversation. But we all remember that he is prone to throw it away, just like Jordan Love is prone to throw it to the other team. So, and that's categorized as being competitive, pushing the envelope. Because it is.
It's all about who the quarterback is.
Exactly. I know that's your second favorite quarterback. Hey, no, going to your second favorite quarterback for real though. This is a hard game to pick. San Francisco coming fresh off of a tough loss to the Seattle Seahawks this past weekend, and traveling to the defending Super Bowl champions to take on a Jalen Hurts-led Philly team that, again, week 19 of the NFL season, I still don't know what kind of offensive identity this team has. But some way, somehow, they always figure it out. It is the philosophy that just because we don't mean we can't. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it ain't working. When the game ends, the objective is to get the dub. We talked about what San Francisco has done with the Band-Aid approach throughout the season, with Bosa out, Fred Warner out on that defense, and yet they still are here in the playoffs, in the 5 seed or in the 6 seed, and can legitimately travel to Philly, to Lincoln Financial Field, and have that Philly fan base on one because they are walking out of that stadium with a dub. How does Brock Purdy and CMC do that on Sunday afternoon to continue their hopes and dreams? Or will Philly do what they should do, establish the run game, feed Saquon, and have AJ and Devontae have their success? What do you think wins for either?
Man, I can tell you right now, man. I like both of these guys. I like both of them because both of them been considered underdogs. Brock Purdy as well as Jay. Everybody got something to say about both of them. You know, as much as I despise the Eagles, and Adrian is on here right now, and it hurts me.
This is the easiest game to pick this weekend.
It hurts me. It hurts me to even say this, man. But I can't go against Jalen. And people can say what they want. He always find a way how to win. But in this game right here, the problem with the 49ers is that front four, because the Eagles only got a rush four. And Jalen Collins, them, they coming, man. It's gonna be a long day for Brock. I don't even think Trent Williams is playing this week either. And that's his primary blocker, man. And so for that, man, I have to give this game to the Eagles. I don't think that they're gonna be able to do. They had a good run. They made it farther than most of us gave them credit for this season with all the injuries and stuff like that. But playing up there in that cold, Brock never ain't there for that, baby. It's going to be a long day. And Adrian, you can go ahead and put this down on your calendar. Griff picked the Eagles in this game.
I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to be saying fly, Eagles fly come next Tuesday.
Adrian said McCaffrey gonna end up playing quarterback. Now they're gonna bring Mac Jones back out if something happens.
This ain't gonna be like several years ago, bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling you exactly. You got several quarterbacks in that lineup that could make some noise, but no, seriously, this isn't gonna be an offensive-minded game. You're right. The defenses are going to be heavily relied upon to limit the other team's success. That Philly defense has gotten a whole lot better since the return of Jalen Carter and that front four, solidifying their health. Having the week off last weekend definitely helped them. Nick Sirianni made the conscious decision to, hey, we are comfortable with the 3 seed as to compare to compete for the 2 seed. We feel good about our chances against either San Francisco and or Green Bay. So that is why the Eagles sat all of their players. They come into this game not only the defending champs, but slightly the better team. They should win this game. You're absolutely right. The offensive philosophy that you take, it should be a 50-50 mixture of run and pass. Saquon should be able to have 100-plus yards, but both Devontae and AJ or Goddard should have 60 to 80 yards apiece themselves, at least 2 out of the 3. And Jalen Hurts has some success because San Francisco 49er defense is not a shutdown defense. We've seen other playoff teams hang 20, 30, 40 points on them here in the past month. So I don't think Purdy has what it takes to lead the San Francisco 49ers into Lincoln Financial Field to get a earned dub. And, the Eagles faithful, the most considerate fan base in the entire league.
Man, they throw snowballs at Santa Claus, man. They ain't considerate.
They ain't considerate.
No. They nasty. Them Eagles fans is nasty. Troy, I agree with you, Troy. I mean, I got Ben Johnson or Shanahan, and I really would lean more towards Shanahan being the coach of the year just because of what he did with what he had. But like you said, Ben Johnson probably end up being that guy. But, either way it goes, Shanahan or Ben Johnson, those are the 2 front runners for coach of the year for me.
You know who's going to be the coach of the year?
Who is going to be?
Duval. That is going to be the coach of the year, brother. Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. Not the guy that said Duval County, but Duval. I'm telling you. Why? Because the Jacksonville Jaguars put up numbers that you did not believe that they were going to have with a rookie head coach. Mike Shanahan, established. He's a coach with 10 years of coaching experience and coaching success. We know what he can do. That's expected for him to pull the rabbit out of the hat. The Ben Johnson argument, definitely just as legitimate as the Cohen argument down there in Jacksonville. So Ben Johnson or Cohen, I believe that's his name, would be the coach of the year for me. Shanahan, not even in the conversation, even though he did a whole lot with limited weapons that are available. But Philly,
don't try to change it up now. Don't throw
the top 2. He is not in the top 2. He shouldn't even be in the conversation. Period.
Okay.
But Philly, y'all better win this game, or Nick Sirianni might be looking for a job next year too. You just never know.
That changed the whole coaching carousel.
Yeah. He would actually make a good coach for the Baltimore Ravens. This next one, Sunday Night Football, bruh. Patriots, something to prove. Number 2 seed in the AFC. They had a schedule that kind of kept them under the radar the entire year, even with all of the Drake May conversation about MVP, possible MVP candidate. Does he have MVP level performances? Does he have the numbers to support it, or is he just on the bus, not driving the bus, ensuring that the bus doesn't get driven into the ditch? Is he the leader of this team, or is it the defense and the approach that Mike Vrabel has implemented that has gotten the New England Patriots to where they are now? On the opposite side of the ball, we know what Jim Harbaugh brings to the table as a head coach. We see what Justin Herbert can do. We believe Justin Herbert has taken that next step. He has his favorite weapon back in Keenan Allen. Can the Chargers travel to Foxborough on Sunday night to upset? Because this will be a slight upset, even though the Chargers were competing for the division until the last weekend of the season with the overall number 1 seed in the AFC, the Broncos. The Chargers, like I said at the beginning of this conversation, can go to Foxborough and win. This will not be a major upset. But what do they need to do to be able to go into Foxborough to get this upset? But ultimately, who do you believe wins this game and why?
What they need to do is to be able to put it on Drake May and not allow that running game to do what it do, and keep their quarterback upright. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Vrabel's from the old school. He's from the Patriot team that used to do what they do. And Troy, you bring up a good point. He also could be one of those guys that they look at for coach of the year because his team was one of those teams that we didn't think was going to be here as well. And look where they at. But I got the Patriots in this game. I think that the Patriots will be able to run the ball in this game. I think Drake May will do what he need to do. Like Troy say, who Herbert gonna throw it to? Even with Keenan Allen coming in, Keenan Allen is not the Keenan Allen of old. Their running game is and the offensive line has put Herbert in a lot of bad situations this year, and I think Vrabel is going to exploit that. So I got the Patriots winning this game.
I agree that the Patriots are favored to win, legitimately so. They should win this game simply because of three reasons. One, they are the better team both on the offensive side and on the defensive side. They're much more sounded. They're much deeper at this point in the season that they can sustain teams trying to go up and down the field. Two, the Chargers don't have a history of playing well in inclement weather. This is going to be a night game on Sunday night in Boston. I don't know what the temperature is going to be like. I don't know what the conditions are going to be like. All I know is it's going to be cold enough for it to affect the game, and it is definitely going to affect the game for Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Charger offense. They don't have the outside weapons to consistently go back and forth against an aggressive New England Patriots defense. So, yeah, the Patriots win this game by more than 10 points, in my opinion, where you can kind of just keep an eye on it in the fourth quarter. I don't believe this is going to come down to a Baltimore versus Pittsburgh type of finish. We should know early on in the fourth quarter that the Patriots have secured this dub, but we shall see. Again, that's why you play the game. Now, to close out the wild card weekend, bro, I am looking forward to this game on Monday Night Football. Mike Tomlin has survived yet another season, not only to secure his 19th consecutive winning season, never having a losing season in the NFL as a head coach, but to win the division in such a way that they did Sunday night against their arch rival. Do they have a shot against, again, one of the two best teams in the National Football League at this point? Because the Houston Texans come into the playoffs with the baddest defense, even better than the Seattle Seahawks defense that the NFL has in 2025, with an offense that does just enough to secure a dub. They are not blowing people out on offense, but they do just enough to secure the dub. Can Aaron Rodgers secure the magic? Politics are not at the age of 42 with the storyline that, hey, one more for Aaron Rodgers, one more ride for Aaron Rodgers with the return of DK Metcalf this weekend. Because what did Houston show this weekend against the team they were playing this weekend in the Colts? You can go deep on them. They got burned several times by a rookie quarterback. That's film. Can Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, because DK can create separation, do that a couple times to give Pittsburgh a shot against that defense, or is that just something that won't be available for them? How does Pittsburgh win this game, man?
The way he creates separation is on slants, because he ain't gonna have time to go down the field. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, man. If they want to have a chance, I have no faith in. I mean, you can say what you want. I'm not a big fan of the Texans offense. The best quality that the Texans, and that's going to be their Achilles heel after this game, because I got the Texans win this game, but it's going to be because of the defense. The defense is at least going to score at least 7 points by themselves. It's going to be some type of turnover or some. Aaron Rodgers is giving up that ball. One of them, they gonna come. They gonna be meeting them. They gonna meet him at. I'm telling you, they meet him at the water cooler. He gonna let the ball go. But the Texans defense will score at least 7 points in this game. I just don't see Pittsburgh having an opportunity. Now, if Watts and Haywood come in there and play the way they played this weekend against the Ravens, that give them a chance because the Texas offense is not that good to me. CJ Stroud is not that good, but defense, man, defense is gonna win this game, and I think the Texans have a better defense than the Steelers.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, you don't think the Texans have a better defense than
Oh, I
Steelers.
know
We
you're right.
know.
You're right. You're right. I
We
know.
know.
I know.
Yeah.
Melissa, don't be mad at me. Don't be, Melissa. Look, y'all didn't even think y'all team was gonna be here.
I
Tell me and
know,
Melissa, talking about, let's go Steelers. Melissa
right?
talking about bye. Both of y'all had already counted y'all teams out. Don't act new now.
The Texans are the better team. Right? I said it in the first half of the show. The 5 seed for both the NFC and the AFC is better than the 4 seed. I said it weeks ago. Whoever won the AFC North would be a one and done team in the playoffs. No matter who that 5 seed was. I just knew back then. Pittsburgh does not have a legitimate shot of scoring consistent points against this defense, right? DK can create separation, but as you mentioned, the people that are being displayed on this slide are being displayed for a reason, right? Because they get after the quarterback. Anderson and that Houston defense come at you very quickly. And again, I keep saying Aaron Rodgers is 42 with 42-year-old legs. According to Griff, 60-year-old NFL legs. So he is going to be moving somewhat slowly. So the Houston defense, you're right, does create multiple turnovers, not just one. They create multiple turnovers. One may turn into a pick six or a scoring opportunity during that turnover, but defense and the turnovers win this game for Houston, where the offense, again, does just enough and closes the 2025 season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, a season that they punched above their weight class because
Man,
of the weapons that they have had available to them.
look,
Okay.
I'm loving. Hey, Drew, I'm loving this solidarity between Melissa and Tommy. They got a united front, and they said we gonna be eating crow on Tuesday.
I got you, man. Hey, I understand that. You know, I'll be more than happy to do so if I'm wrong. But again, the Negatodamas hat has been adorned for the night, and especially for this game. This is the most easy game to pick. Adrian. This is the easiest game to pick. The Houston Texans gonna play like they were Earl Campbell's Houston Oilers.
Oh
Down
man,
first.
cold blooded.
Man, I got the Texans in this game. So,
I got
hey,
the Texans too, man. I got the Texans.
with every end of the season, it's going to be a great wild card weekend, and we're going to talk about that more on Friday, and then again next weekend, next Tuesday. But at the end of every NFL regular season, before we transition into the playoffs, coaches come and go, right? 7 teams have already moved on from their head coaches since the conclusion of the regular season 48 hours ago. 7 teams, 7 job opportunities. We talked about the Baltimore Ravens at the top of the show, but I want to go over a few select teams that would be a team that could take a huge leap from where they are now, the way that they are currently comprised, to have some success like a Jacksonville Jaguars in 2026. The way that Jacksonville went from where they were last year to where they are this year. How the Chicago Bears went from where they were last year to where they were this year. What kind of effect can a coach come into this situation and have that effect immediately? The first game or the first team I want to talk about are the Atlanta Falcons, a team that has underperformed for several years now, right? I got it. Raheem Morris implemented that $40 billion contract with Kirk Cousins. That didn't work out. He got injured. You slowly integrated Penix Jr. He got injured. They have underperformed during his tenure. He was released here a couple of days ago after the Atlanta Falcons went on a 4-game winning streak to end the season. But again, they were a team that were supposed to be competing for the playoff position, not competing for the bottom feeder position to help somebody else win the NFC South. Who can come in and have some immediate success to Atlanta?
It really don't. For me, it don't make a difference because again, you don't have to be that great in this division. You still, you, it was a four-way tie or a three-way tie, 89. But you know what, man? Again, I would say, man, and I know a lot of people don't like this guy, man, but Kevin Stefanski could come in there and pick up where Raheem Morris left off at, man. They had a killer defense. The defense, Atlanta had a great defense, man, but their offensive play calling was, and Raheem was a defensive minded guy. And so
Right.
I don't think he brought the right person in there to assist him when it came to offensive play calling. I think Stefanski with his background. I know people say about the Browns, but everybody leave the Browns and become successful. I think he'll be a good fit down in Atlanta.
I don't know, man. And for this reason and this reason alone, I know Kevin Stefanski has been named the NFL Coach of the Year twice here in the past decade, but he's supposed to be this offensive-minded, successful coach, but you've had 12, 13 quarterbacks in 6 years. 13 quarterbacks in 6 years. If you're an offensive-minded coach, you should have been able to develop one of those 13 to where we can have some sustained success.
Well, they had injuries too, though, man. They had plenty of injuries.
13 quarterbacks in 6 years.
Injuries, and all kind of other stuff going on. And then stuff in the head
I think
shit.
Joe Brady would be the best fit to come into Atlanta. They need an offensive-minded coach. Joe Brady, who is now the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, I believe he would be the perfect one to come in to Atlanta.
What about Clint? What about Clint? What about
Clint Kubiak?
Kingsbury?
Kubiak.
Kubiak or Kingsbury?
I don't know. Kingsbury blew his last opportunity at the head coaching position. I know he's rehabbed it just 2 years, one great season in Washington, and then another tank season. I don't know if he's repaired his reputation enough. Great offensive coordinator, not necessarily a great coach, just like Josh McDaniel. He's going back to being an OC for a reason. Just because you're good at OC don't make you a good head coach. I don't think Kubiak, or not Kubiak, but Kingsbury has matured enough to be that head coach that you can depend on for success. The most interesting one for me this offseason is the Cleveland Brown head coaching position. I don't know how the Deshaun Watson dead money going to affect them next year, but he's not going to be the starting quarterback next year for that team. Shedeur Sanders has shown you that he has earned the right to at least go into the offseason as being the named starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, going into training camp as the named starting quarterback and having to earn it in training camp. You're going to keep both Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel. What coach comes in and is able to use that with that defense that they already got in place and have some success?
I'm gonna bring
defensive.
I'm gonna bring Harbaugh in. He already know this division, and out of just to get back at my division rival, I'm bringing Harbaugh up in here. He don't have to do much, but bring an attitude. He might need a new look himself, and coming in there with learning what he learned with them 18 years up there with the Ravens coming in there. I think Harbaugh will be a good fit. I guarantee they talking to him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and he would be a good fit. I don't know if he'd be the best fit because do we want to go defensive-minded approach or do we want to go offensive-minded approach where
just you get a good OC?
Get a good OC. We had what we thought was a good OC, but it's all about philosophy. It's all about whether or not this new head coach is going to have the free reign to run the team as the head coach the way that he feels it needs to be run and not have to worry about the front office making decisions, because the front office made the decision not to play Shedeur Sanders along with Stefanski and put them in a situation where they are now. You need not only a head coach who does have that ability, but has earned the credibility to tell the front office, stay in the front office and let me do my job. I don't know if there is a coach in the NFL that actually has that credibility right now. I would say Pete Carroll, but I would just be joking. So the Cleveland Browns, I say go out and hire Shadur's father, prime time.
That ain't happening.
Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady's ownership interest.
They want Brian
either
Flores.
going to help or hurt. It's either going to help or hurt. Who will they bring in? Because it's going to be a big name. It's going to be a big name. It's going to be a big name to get the Raiders out of the dungeon that they have been in for the past 20 years.
Man, I think, and I've seen around the league, they looking at Brian Flores, man. Brian, as much as I would love him to come to the Cowboys and be my defensive coordinator, I think this will be his second opportunity to come back as a head coach. With everything that took place in Miami, it's starting to look like he was correct about what he was saying and how that defense played up there. That he would bring that same fire that we know the custom of the Ravens being down there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Brian Flores will be a great selection for the Las Vegas Raiders. Brian Flores will be a great selection for the Cleveland Browns. Brian Flores will be a great selection for any one of these teams that are vying for a head coach, because he is going to be a head coach again in the NFL, and he's going to be a head coach in the NFL in 2026. So he's definitely going to be hired as a head coach in this coaching cycle, because the defense that he has created in the Minnesota Vikings organization has been in the top 5 over the past several years, repeatedly, even with them taking a real nosedive offensively this year. So Flores would make a great selection for the Raiders. We'll see what team he decides to go with. I don't know if he wants that headache to rebuild the Raiders with the influence from the front office that I just talked about that you don't want. But we shall see. The Raiders are going to continue to suck in my opinion.
But listen, I'm not begging for Flores. I just think he'll be a good coach.
No, I mean, Flores will be a perfect addition to the Dallas Cowboys as a defensive coordinator, because they just might legitimize their defense and still have that window open for the offense to be powerful and Dakota Wayne to possibly maybe get a Super Bowl. But Flores will be a head coach before he becomes the DC for the Cowboys. Man, the New York Football Giants, one of those coveted jobs that has a lot of expectations because it is New York, the Big Blue. I think Flores will be a great coach for this team. Who do you think would be a good fit to come in and fill the shoes that Brian Dable couldn't fill?
Man, hey, bring Antonio Pierce up in there, man. Bring that former Giant. Bring that former Giant back up there and get that Giant mystique up there. You got. But I will say this, all jokes aside, and we ain't talked about him, man. I think Steve Spagnuolo is getting ready to leave, man. He would not be with the Chiefs this year. I think he would be a good fit to get that defense side. That they have those killers over there on the Giants for the defense. That Jackson Dart, they'll have Scatterboo and all those guys back next year. Neighbors, all those guys will be back. I think the offense, but I think a guy like Spags would be a good fit for that team.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely need to take the approach of going with a defensive-minded coach, whether it's Spags or whether it's Raheem Morris being recycled from the Atlanta job, whether it is John Harbaugh, because he will be a good fit in New York as well. He does have that defense experience, and we all know about his resume. So we'll see what the Giants do. They've been a traditional face of the NFL for Super Bowl titles. It is a coveted job because it is the biggest news market in the United States, one of the biggest in the world, and this is one of the mothership sports teams for the city and the tri-state area. So we shall see who ends up as the head coach of this team. The Tennessee Titans, man, the Tennessee Titans didn't know how good they had it when they had it. They decided to get rid of Mike Vrabel a couple of years ago because they wanted to head in a different directions. Well, you're playing a revolving door of head coaches here, it seems, because if you don't land on this one, you're going to waste Cam Jordan's first 4 years in his career.
Cam Ward.
Thinking of the great defensive tackle for the New Orleans Saints, Cam Jordan. But you would waste Cam Ward's first 4 years, and then you would be hiring another head coach in 2 to 3 years. Who would be the perfect guy to head into Tennessee and pick up and resurrect a Tennessee Titans team that used to be defensive minded, but now nobody knows what they can do?
I think all these teams that we done talked about tonight, I think they need a defensive minded coach because you have a good defense to help the offense out. But what I see on the streets is McCarthy. McCarthy would be a good fit. My former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys to be the guy to come in and help this young man, and because of the patience that he had with Dak and all the other stuff. But I just think all these teams, the teams that's competing right now, they defensive minded. And they got good OCs. That's I think for Tennessee to go to the next level, their next head coach need to be somebody that's defensive minded.
So let me ask you a question, Griff. 7 vacancies so far.
Yep.
What do you think the approach that the majority of these teams are going to take? The ownership group of each one of these teams, whether it is one person making the decision as to who to hire or whether it's a group, are they going to go youth, young, unproven offensive or defensive coordinators who have been the hot, flashy thing over the past couple of years, depending on the team that they've been on, whether it's the Rams OC, DC, the Seattle Seahawks Rams OC, DC, whether it is the Buffalo Bills OC, DC, I mentioned Joe Brady earlier, or is it we're going to go with a experienced head coach who has been away or is sitting on another team right now, getting ready to depart that area? What do you think the approach that a majority of these teams are going to take? Because I don't believe 7 is going to be the final number looking for a head coach this year.
I think based off of what I've seen here in recent years, most of them going to go with what you just said up front, the shiny new object, not the one that's been proven, the one that's been in the league a while. Let's see. They going to go with what social media said that the team should have been picked because that's just how they do stuff these days. Looking. And then next thing you know, 2 years later, they'll be fine and looking for another one instead of doing their due diligence and actually bringing the right person in for the job. The Patriots was not the Patriots, but the Raiders was probably one of the only teams in the last coaching cycle that actually brought a seasoned coach in that or whatever. And look what happened. I mean, these players are different too. So they looking for somebody that's young. They looking for somebody that can relate to these players. Some of the tactics of some of the older coaches, that stuff don't work on this generation of players right now. So I think they're gonna go with what you just said, the first part. The young, the flashy, the one that can relate with the players.
All right, so taking that into consideration, and one last question about the coaching. The 5 teams that we talked about the Atlanta Falcons, we talked about the Las Vegas Raiders, we talked about the New York Football Giants, we talked about the Cleveland Browns, the Dog Pound, and we talked about the Tennessee Titans. Taking what you just said, looking for the younger-minded offensive or defensive coordinator who can have that positive impact on our team and how our team is currently constructed, right? Because now we're going to be able to flip a team in the draft, how our team is currently constructed, who the superstars on our team. Which one of these 5 teams do you believe 5 years from now will have a head coach that they can say, hey, we made the right selection? If any, do you think any of them will have the same head coach, which will produce some success here in the next 5 years? Or will they be back looking to recycle the head coach just like they recycled
Uh,
number one
you
quarterback?
know, if I had to pick a team, man, and let's probably make Troy happy, I think the Raiders is. I mean, with Tom Brady being a part of that, I think Tom is gonna go get the right guy, the guy that's gonna take that team to the next level, to bring Troy out of the dungeon. But I want to say this before I get off here, man. Don't you be too comfortable with your coach in LSU. You know he all it takes is the right phone call.
Yeah. I know that LSU has Lane Kiffin for at least one football season, especially if that football season is a very successful football season and produces what I always desire, a natty. If they win a national championship next year in year one, then yeah, he would be up for the highest bidder in both the NFL and the college football arena. Speaking of college football, Griff, there are
Let's
some
do it.
very important games coming up here in the
Yeah.
next 48, 72 hours. We have the college football playoff semifinals between four teams that definitely have earned the position that they are in, definitely went through the gauntlet that brought them to where they are, right? We are down to the Final Four. We started off with a 12-team bracket, dwindled it down. Teams that were surprisingly not supposed to win did win. We have a 10 seed in the semifinals who legitimately have a shot of winning it all. Thursday night, the Miami Hurricanes, the U, led by Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, Ed Reed, and every great U alumni, The Rock, just to name a few, are going to be live and center in Glendale, Arizona, when the Hurricanes take on everybody's favorite SEC team to dislike, other than Harold, the Ole Miss Rebels, who are missing my head coach, who will be missing their OC for this game, if I remember correctly, because I don't think they're coaching this game. Going against Miami, one of the hottest teams in the country. But Ole Miss just came off of hanging 38 on a defensive-minded Georgia Bulldogs team with a quarterback that was playing junior college football last year, but could legitimately be a top 15 draft pick in the upcoming draft. Griff, does the SEC continue to save its reputation by having Ole Miss stand up, stand tall, and keep our chest out in the breeze, or does the U return to glory by having Carson Beck lead them to the national title game? What are you looking for in this game, man? The U, really?
Look. First of all, it won't be Carson Beck though. It'll be Fletcher. It'll be the running game and that defense. That defense, man. I like Trinidad Chambers. I'm not gonna lie. I like the kid, but that defense is gonna be on him, man. And I would tell you, I'm not a fan of Ole Miss's defense. I think that Miami will be able to run the ball to keep Trinidad off of the field. But when Trinidad is on the field, he's gonna be under duress. He's gonna have to beat Miami with his legs, and I just don't think that he's gonna be able to do that a full football game. That Miami defense has been very truly surprising. And of the two coaches that formerly coached under Nick Saban, I got more faith in Cristobal than I do in Golden.
I understand that because of Cristobal's mentality, his approach, his aggressiveness, his gravitas, his proven history. Uh, and we always say defense wins championships. But in the SEC, we know if you have a formidable offense, that offense is getting tested every single week because every SEC team has a quality type defense. They may not have one of the better ones in the country, but you know that they're going to bring it every single weekend. And Ole Miss has gone through the gauntlet of playing 14 games in the Southeastern Conference, still the toughest conference in the country, and have shown that they can put up points against Ite Bate. I got it. Miami has a aggressive defense. They've hung their hat on their defense all year, but they're not going to be able to shut down Chambers like they did Texas A&M. They're not going to be able to do that against Chambers like they did against Ohio State. Ohio State did not have the same type of offense that Ole Miss has. I know. Lane Kiffin is an offensive genius as it pertains to being able to put plays together to put a team on the field to have and generate offensive success. But you still have to generate that offensive success. And Ole Miss has shown us in the past couple of games that Lane Kiffin is not the wizard behind the curtain pulling all of the strings. That team that is on the field, they are on the field putting up points because they have the talent to put up points. Chambers and that offense are going to put up points up against this Miami team. Harrell has finally decided to support his home team, and I said that I would never and I shall never cheer for Ole Miss, but I understand that they are one of the best teams in the country. I understand that they have the ability to win this game. This game is going to be a close game. This game is going to hinge on either the Miami defense creating a big play or the Ole Miss receiving game generating multiple big plays for the Ole Miss offense. And I think the Ole Miss offense does have what it takes, minus, again, Lane Kiffin, minus the offensive-minded coaching staff that they had in place. I'm pretty sure they created some type of continuity book to say, hey, Dad, in this situation, we always play to win. We came to play to win the game, and that's what they're going to do in Glendale, Arizona, Thursday night. I'm sticking with the Southeastern
Hey, roll with him. Look, I'm a diehard SEC guy, but hey, as Ryan Clark say, that dominance is over with, baby. It's over.
That's a conference, yeah. That conference is over.
For this year, anyway. If it's a close game, Drew, Miami, in order for Ole Miss to win this game, it can't be close. It can't be close. Ole Miss need to put those points up like you said. If it's a close game, Miami definitely win this game.
I think this is going to be a close game, and it's going to be the type of game that we saw where both of these two teams are going to be able to put up 24-plus points. Whether or not they're both in the 30s, we'll see. But I think Ole Miss is able to keep up with the Miami defense aggressiveness. They are able to generate plays that take advantage of that aggressiveness, that are quick strike point opportunities. And like I said, man, we're all in. We're playing with house money at this point if we are Ole Miss. We've never been this far. We've had the best season in our entire school history, right? We've never had 13 wins. We now have 13 wins. And we are 2 games away from winning the Natty when nobody gave us a chance, when our head coach decided to go right down the street for a shinier team.
Well, he voted for him. He pulling for him because they win, he get money. Every game they win, he making money, so he pulling for him. But LSU again,
that though, LSU
it don't make a difference. It don't make a difference who eating it. He getting paid. So at the end of the day, but I will tell you, I will post my picture with me when I was a Garrison Son major, and me and Willis McGahee, and I with them U when he came to Fort Knox. I'm just telling you that you got this game.
I got you, man.
Michael Irvin gonna be out there. Michael Irvin gonna take that belt off again, and it's gonna be belt to you know what.
I think Michael Irvin's gonna be pissed by the end of the night. He gonna be huffing and puffing and saying that we should have, could have, and would have won only if. It ain't gonna happen. The Rebs, even though I'm not pulling for y'all are gonna win this game. You're gonna be in the national championship game. And in this case, I am pulling for the Southeastern Conference. But it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a great game.
Okay.
Now, the one Friday night, the other semifinal game, where we have the number 1 team in the daggone country who just beat the bejesus.
Let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going, man. Stay focused. Stay on the game.
Crimson.
Stay focused, Drew. Stay focused, bro. Stay focused.
The Big Ten rematch from early on in the season. You have the Oregon Ducks taking on the Indiana Hoosiers again. Different teams from what we saw early in the season. All right. different teams, different approach. Indiana has gotten better. They've gotten more comfortable with being able to play from the front, being more comfortable playing a drag out defensive smash my type of a game. But they are also extremely comfortable going back and forth with their opponent, punch for punch, pound for pound, score for score. This might be a repeat of what we saw in October between these two teams. But again, like I said, Griff, Indiana is a different team. They are a defensive minded team now. Can Oregon have the same type of success against Indiana's defense that they did against a Texas Tech defense that we thought was going to be able to shut them down? What kind of game are you looking for here in this one between the number 1 overall pick and the number 2 overall pick in the NFL 2026 draft?
So the first time these two teams met, the score was 30-20. Oregon was still in the game all the way to the end. Moore threw the interception, had a turnover near the end. So, but both of these two teams is different. Both of these two teams are much better than they were when they met earlier. And we always say it's hard to be a team twice. But Indiana has that. It's something about them. Them kids got that swag as they coach, man. And I like Dan Lanning up there, and a possible another coach that could possibly come into the NFL as well. That Oregon coach with his offensive mindedness and how he liked to throw up points. I think that this game right here, as much as how bad Indiana beat Alabama, I think Oregon wins this game. I think Oregon wins this game. I think Oregon redeems themselves from the game early in the season because this game was way closer than the Alabama Indiana game. And this was earlier in the seasons. Both of these teams have got a lot better. I mean, Indiana got the momentum going in right now. But I personally think that we will be looking at Oregon winning this game.
You know, there were a couple of trends for the 2025 college football playoffs, right? Combining them with the 2024 college football playoffs. The top 4 seeds, both 2024 and 2025, those that had that additional week off, all lost their first playoff game, with the exception of one team, the Indiana Hoosiers this year. In 2025, we had, 3-4 games where there were rematches of regular season matchups where Alabama lost to Oklahoma in the regular season, won in the postseason, where Georgia beat Ole Miss in the regular season, lost in the postseason. You saying that Oregon lost in the regular season, gonna win in the postseason. I think Indiana bucks that trend just like they bucked that other trend that they're gonna be the last one standing, the only one remaining that does not succumb to the repeat fall down.
Oregon don't have Kellen. Oregon don't have Kellen DeBoer as their head coach.
This isn't a coaching approach game because Dan Lanning is a very good offensive minded head coach. We know that the defensive minded head coach for the Indiana Hoosiers, who's a disciple of Steve Spurrier.
Nick Saban. Both of them disciples of Nick Saban.
Yeah, I know. Well, true. They are both disciples of Nick Saban. So this isn't going to be one of those games where my coaching approach is better than your coaching approach. And even though we played each other several months ago, we are where we are, and we ended the season the way that we ended the season because our teams are the way that they are set up. Indiana still has the better team. This is going to be an extremely tight game, just like the first game was. But some way, somehow, I just believe that this is Indiana's year, at least to make it to the title game, to see whether or not they have what it takes to beat a tough defensive-minded Miami team or a offensive juggernaut in the Ole Miss Rebels. I want to see that. I don't think Oregon is the better of these two teams. And for that, I'm going to go with the Indiana Hoosiers to win a very good, close game Friday night at the Peach Bowl. Griff, Friday night at the Peach Bowl in the Mercedes Atlanta Superdome, or whatever dome they call that thing.
My favorite stadium.
We have two Big Ten teams playing in the college football semifinals in Atlanta, Georgia, the heart and soul of the SEC.
Don't it hurt? That hurt, man. That hurt.
That hurts.
It's so disrespectful.
Yeah, but I got Indiana winning a very good game, man. And we have in Indiana, in my opinion, versus Ole Miss national championship game on January 19th. But again, either one of these four teams can win this weekend and win the Natty. So I'm looking forward to that. Great show, my man. Great show tonight. Anything on the outside that you want to share with the roundtable before we depart?
Nah, man, just again, thank y'all for always showing up, man. Look forward to coming back here on Friday. By Friday, we'll know what happened in the Ole Miss Miami game, and then the Oregon and Indiana game will be going on while the show is going on. I hope y'all 2026 and started out great. Keep that momentum going. Don't let your New Year's resolution end this week. You know, statistically, this is when they start falling off. So keep it going, man. Keep it going.
It's not a resolution; it is a revelation, right? Let's reveal who we are going to be each and every day throughout 2026. Yo, 2025 NFL regular season, like I said at the top of the show, whether it was scripted or not, whether there were politics involved, whether it was some fugaziness, it still produced some exciting football in the final stretch. Each and every single weekend. Each and every single weekend, we had some games that came down to the final seconds where game winning and game losing kicks happened. We had pick sixes. We had blocked field goals on the final play of the game. Again, whether or not it was scripted or not, it produced some great football finishes. And I, as a true traditional purist of a fan, really like that type of football. Again, officiating reared its ugly head. It's going to continue to do that, but we need to continue to do better. And there are some advancements with real game corrections on the field with, as they say, replay assist to get the call right. But we need to decide, as in NFL, as we head into the regular season, off season, what the hell is a catch? I'm just saying. Because this weekend, a catch is a catch, and if it's on the 20-yard line, it's a catch. But if it happened in the end zone, you did not take a third step or a fourth step, make a football move, say hello to your mama and them. What the hell is a catch? Figure that out so that it does not change every single weekend. The wild card weekend is this weekend, and please let's not have games be decided on what the hell is a catch and or officiating. Hopefully your team does do well. Y'all have a great and phenomenal week.
You just spoke that into existence, right?
Hey, hopefully we have some great college football playoff semifinal games, two exciting games, both Thursday night and Friday night. Let's go SEC on Thursday night. Let's go ACC as well. I got to keep it partial or impartial. And same for the Big Ten on Friday night. Safe few days. We shall see y'all here. Take care of yourselves. Do something nice for somebody that you may not even know, because it just might be the best thing that happens to them on that particular day. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all be crazy.
I'm hurt, dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it. I put my heart in this shit, dog. Let's go, man. Let's go.
I'm trying to tell y'all, God has never made a mistake. He's never made one mistake. All right? So it ain't about one play, ain't about nothing. This year, we did what we were supposed to do. We fought as a team. There will be one Super Bowl champ crowned at the end of this year. That's it. So the way we feel, somebody gonna feel like that tomorrow, and somebody gonna feel like that in a week. That's a fact. And the fact is, we got to come back and go to work to make sure we finish it next time. That's all we got to do. Remember that, man. God has never made a mistake. But we done came too far to drop our head. Joe, you played your ass off. You hear me, man? I'm telling you, man, don't ever drop your head when it comes to a loss, dog. Because there's too much pain outside of this that people really going through. This right here makes us stronger. Let's understand who we are as a team. Let's understand who we are as men. And let's make somebody smile when we walk out of here. Hell yeah, we lost the game, but so what? So what? I kept something inside of me so bad last night. A 17-year-old child. You know about the child, coach. He passed 10 a.m. yesterday morning. Of bone cancer. His mama called me bowling. So sometimes you gotta ask yourself, how great is your pain? If he give you enough of the opportunity to come back and do it again. We got an opportunity.